A crime story, a murder mystery that gripped newsrooms and the nation for weeks and months together back in 2015, and the case continues to drag on. With the release of a brand new documentary, the Indrani Mukerjea story, Buried Truth, on Netflix now, 4 episodes long and with information never known before, new light has been thrown on perhaps the most mysterious murder case this country has seen in decades together. And the person at the middle of the entire mystery and who continues to be at the middle of this entire story is Indrani Mukerjea herself. But I'm going to start this interview, Indrani, by asking a question which you probably have been asked the most. But it's a question that bears repeating because it still doesn't have an answer. Did you kill Sheena Bora?
Well, I think, today the very fact that I have come out in the open, I think I am the only accused who has come out very openly to talk in the documentary. I've also written a book, and I have been very forthcoming with all my, all the questions that have been asked. I've been very forthcoming with my answers for one simple reason, that anything that I have said, or everything that I have said, I have been able to validate with evidence, which has already been submitted in court. And as far as, I think a question like this goes, the question that you asked me just now, I think the court is going to ultimately decide the guilt or the innocence. But personally, if you're asking me this question, you must first remember that I am Sheena's mother.
Yeah.
She is my firstborn child. Okay, and I think all mothers always have a special corner for their firstborn child all the time. And there is absolutely neither any reason nor any motive or nor any lack of, lack of love from my end, which would have ever kind of moved me to do something so gruesome. And I think it is shocking that even people actually believe that anybody, forget about me, I mean, obviously any mother is capable of committing a crime like this. For anyone to have believed something so ghastly, I think it's itself, it's very
Indrani,
shocking. And I'll just finish.
Yeah.
And I think even before today, this question is being asked to me almost after 6.5 years, 7 years. But I think this question should have been really asked a long time ago.
It was?
Well, I don't think so. It was really asked.
But Indrani, sorry to interrupt, but I'm just saying that, heinous crimes do happen. It's not like they don't happen. You're right about the shock factor of a mother, accused of killing her own daughter. I take all of that, and with the greatest of respect for the personal aspects of what you're talking about. I think everyone is aware that you are Sheena Bora's mother, and that's the reason why this story continues to shock people. My next question to you, therefore, would be, Sheena went missing in 2012.
Correct.
You were arrested in 2015. What happened in 2012 then? If if you're saying you didn't kill Sheena Bora, what happened to her?
See, obviously, she disappeared. That is very clear. But now the evidence that has come on record in court very clearly establishes that she was very much around. And
when?
Till 2012 September. Okay, that evidence has already come on record. Yes, it is very true to say that since 2012 April, I have had absolutely no contact with Sheena. I have not had any contact. But call records that have actually ratified call records, by the FSL that have been submitted in the trial court very clearly establishes that she has been in touch with Rahul Mukerjea.
Yeah.
So, which is out there. It is not me saying it. It is, very much there.
But you've
So-
also been on record to say that Sheena is alive.
No, I am sorry, I have not said that. Okay, so again, let me clarify
Yeah.
that, which I've already clarified
No,
in the
because
documentary.
you've said, Indrani, and I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
just press this point because you're
Yeah.
saying that you've made claims that can all be validated.
Yes.
That's why I'm pressing that point.
So now it is not, I have never made a claim. I have never made a claim that Sheena is alive. What has been submitted in court is people who claim to have met Sheena or seen Sheena. That is not my claim. So whoever has seen, like there is an advocate who had apparently seen Sheena, the footage on her phone has been submitted in court. The CCTV footage has been submitted in court. But I have personally never met Sheena.
Just to
or
be
heard
clear,
from-
you're saying CCTV footage
Yes,
supposedly of Sheena after the date of her known disappearance.
Yes, which is in, I think, 2023 January, if I'm not mistaken. I think 5th of January or 4th of January 2000.
And what has been said about that footage? Or
It's
still
submitted in court and
Yeah.
it's sealed. And obviously this lady who had, seen somebody who resembled Sheena. Now,
Do you believe that? What is your view? Do you think Sheena is alive?
I will tell you something. In my heart, I don't really know. But there's more than one person who claims to have, seen Sheena, met Sheena. And it has also happened that in 2020, was it in 2020 or 21? Yes, for somebody else who was actually a police officer. She was with the crime branch earlier. So she had claimed that she had seen Sheena in Kashmir. And to that effect, in fact, we had, sent a letter to the investigating agency so that, the CCTV footage could be gathered, because after some time the CCTV footage goes. But no action was taken.
But what about
A girl-
what about the DNA evidence of the body that was found?
Actually-
It's been linked to you. Why don't you simply ask for another DNA test?
No, we
If you
don't
think-
need to. It has already been established that it was forged. So I don't have to ask for it anymore. So what has happened?
No, so why don't you ask for another DNA test if you believe that it was a forged DNA test, the remains that were
So
found?
because the investigation is apparently closed. So that is, we've asked for a lot of things, okay, but, nothing has really, there's been no movement on that, right? For example, when this lady had come and said that she had met Sheena, we had asked for an investigation. We said, you please get the CCTV footage. This lady was willing to go and show the exact spot because she is a police officer herself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so that the CCTV footage, if any, could have been retrieved, but nobody took any action. So which itself speaks volumes, you see, because that is, I think, really very unbecoming, I think, of any agency to do something
Like you
that.
said,
Yeah.
Indrani, you are Sheena Bora's mother.
Yes.
Okay, and you
Yes.
made it a point to emphasize that, and I think that's important because
Yes.
that goes to the heart of also how this story was treated.
Yes.
How newsroom looked at the story, how
Yes.
people made up their minds about you as well. And the case isn't over yet, and you've
Yes.
chosen to come out and speak in this documentary that's coming up as well. My question to you is. You say you frankly don't know what happened. You don't know if she's alive or
Yes.
she's gone.
Yes.
And this is your child we're talking about.
Yes.
So I mean this with the greatest degree of sensitivity, aware that you are the
Yes.
mother. My question to you is, what do you think happened to her? After all these years, it's been a decade now, actually more than a decade because she disappeared in 2012. What do you think happened? What happened to
Shiv-
Sheena? Who do you think did something to her?
Shiv, I, think there are people in the family who are aware what has happened to Sheena. Okay, I am absolutely convinced about this. In fact, I filed an application in court to that effect. Okay, so I don't want to say until and unless I do not have concrete evidence.
But you mean Peter?
Oh, well, I shall not say that right now, but definitely because I have reasons to believe that. And not just reasons because I think there is enough evidence which has already come on record. And there is even more evidence which we will put forward from, our defense side. And
Right.
which I cannot obviously, show my cards at this. When I say my cards means, the defense cards as of now, I cannot talk about it. But coming back to the DNA aspect, when you said that, why don't we ask for another DNA test? Obviously, the first body that was allegedly, there was a body which was discovered in 2012. There is no DNA report of that. So that goes. In 2015, apparently, another body which was discovered. So there was allegedly a DNA test which matched my blood sample.
Yeah.
Now, of course, when the DNA expert came, to depose, now it turned out to be something completely different because he admitted to have changed, the allele numbers in the electropherogram to which ultimately ended up matching within his own handwriting, because an electropherogram is always machine printed only. So you cannot just scratch out and, okay, this is Indrani Mukerjea's DNA report.
Okay.
So it is 15 allele numbers. So these allele numbers are coordinates, the X and Y coordinates.
Okay, so you're basically saying that the DNA test, basically the claim by the prosecution that this was Sheena's body, you're putting that entirely into doubt because of the way it's handled.
I am not putting it into doubt.
Are you saying you're being
Evidence
framed?
says.
Are you saying you're being framed?
Absolutely. I said this, I think,
But by who? But by who? It has to be, is it a bunch of people? Is it your family? What is the motive to frame you in this?
See, motives, I think, can be several. Okay, so it could be financial, it could be personal. See, I don't know what goes on in somebody else's head and for what reasons, but I can tell you for sure, because there were things that happened immediately on the day of my arrest or after my arrest, which over a period of time made me realize, that I was definitely...
Property titles shifting, etc.
Lots of things, which, I mean, come on, you don't decide on the day a family member gets arrested. All you can think of is writing an email to the society to stop transfers. I mean, it's just, there are several things.
Okay, so
Shiv, there are several things which have made me believe over a period of time that definitely I was framed, and somebody very, very close to me, obviously.
Indrani, you talked about how it's possibly financial or personal. You claim not to know what the reason could be. But I want to come to one of the most personal things that you revealed some months ago. And you talk about it for the first time in much greater detail in this documentary, which is who Sheena Bora really was. That she was, your child from your own father.
That's
it was
correct.
The product of rape. It was a very, very traumatic episode in your life, and that you'd moved away from it. My question to you is, when did you break it to your family? And I'm talking about your family with Peter Mukherjee. When did they come to know that Sheena is not your sister but your daughter? Because that appears to have been part of how this entire episode unfolded, and that was very much part of the whole shock value. I remember being in the office when there was actually a breaking news story saying Sheena isn't Indrani's sister, she's her daughter.
Yeah. So let me now, when you said Peter's family, okay. Now the only person obviously who knew about it, as far as I have communicated in Peter's family, is Peter.
He knew about it.
Of course
throughout.
he knew about it, and I think
So at no point did he think that Sheena is your sister?
No. So that is something which I think there is enough evidence to back that up. And I think from somebody from your channel itself, I think it was Vidya.
Yeah.
I remember correctly.
Crime reporter in Mumbai.
Yes, in your crime reporter in Mumbai, Vidya, when Rahul Mukerjea was finished his trial, and she caught him actually. And Rahul Mukerjea has come on record to say that even he knew that she was always my daughter. And, so it is, very strange that, people made such a big...
So you're saying everyone knew she was your daughter?
I don't know about everyone. I cannot say that about everyone, because on record, when we talk about official records, she is like the daughter of my parents, right? Because you know the background, how she was adopted, and
yes,
I think,
yes.
I've written it in my book, and it's in the chart sheet as well,
right.
that she was adopted when she was a baby. And, but as far as Peter goes, yes, as did, my ex-husband, Sanjeev Khanna, so that he and his mom.
I'd like to speak about Rahul for a minute, because
Yes,
Rahul became
please.
a protagonist in this entire episode for a long time, because he
Yes.
was engaged to Sheena. Or
We
at
don't
least
know whether he was
at least-
married, engaged, we don't know.
At least he
That's a
referred
mystery.
to her as his fiancée in
Yeah,
his phone
yeah.
conversations that he was recording, because he
Yeah.
at least claims not to have been in the know about what was happening with her. In those conversations, and there are extended conversations which are now part of this documentary,
Right.
it seems like, and I want your perspective on this because this is important, I'm sure it's part of the investigation. It seems like Rahul is desperate to find out where Sheena is. And it looks like both Peter and you from the background, Indrani, are audible in those audio cassettes, trying to dissuade him, saying she's gone away, maybe she needs some time off. It looks like you're dissuading him from pursuing any information about her.
Okay,
that looks suspicious.
Yeah, okay. So let me clarify this. If you've heard all the tapes, also there are tapes where both Peter and I have told, so I won't speak for Peter, we have been insistent on those tapes that, he should come with us to the police station. So that is very, very clear, which he kept on making excuses. He never came.
I would say even public opinion in general was, painted you, Indrani, as a kind of bloodless mother.
Yeah.
A decision had been taken in the public mind, a monster, etc. So I actually want to ask you about how you dealt with all of that. That view seemed to have, pretty much sunk in. It took root. The case isn't over just yet. And it's a question that is still being asked. But how did you deal with that, being painted as that?
More than actually what the society or the media had to paint me as, honestly for me, when I heard the news about Sheena's alleged demise, okay, so we don't know. For me, Sheena had vanished in 2012. So that thought really never crossed my mind that she would be no more. So for me, I think the first year was more of grieving about her loss. Till I started seeing those, what people had to think about me, I think was, I was immune to all that. Honestly, that really didn't bother me as much, because there was a bigger this thing that why would somebody do that to her? That was one. And because for a long time I believed myself, till we started digging more and more into the DNA reports, I also believed she was no more, right? The first year, that was my belief, because I believed the DNA report was right. I knew I hadn't done it, but I also believed at that point that somebody did something to her, and that DNA report is the correct report.
Yeah.
Right, so that was my grief initially, till my lawyers said, hang on, this is, half a page report is not a DNA report. And I was asked this question very categorically at that point by that time my trial lawyer was Sudeep Pasbola. He asked me a very simple question that, Indrani, I need you to be honest with me, you have done it or not done it. Because if you haven't done it, I'm going to pull out every single piece of evidence and I'm going to ask for everything, which will clear your name. So obviously I said that I haven't done it. Then he said, I'm going to ask for everything. That is when he asked for this raw data of the DNA, and we found it that it was, all forged, and it was out of that 15 allele numbers, 8 were handwritten to match my blood sample.
Right.
So that is when kind of I became much stronger, and I realized that somebody... See, I knew from the beginning that obviously from day one, and if you remember, if you go back to your records, and I think I said it to your channel, I can't remember who, because I was asked on the 19th of November 2015, I was coming out of the police van, I was asked that, have you been framed? And I said, yes, I have been framed. I was asked another question that, have the police framed you? So I said, I am not sure. Then I was asked one more question, that has Peter framed you? It was very strange because at that time, I still remember very distinctly one journo asking me this, and I kept quiet. Because by then, I think I knew someone very close to me wanted to ensure that I was inside for some reason. Yes.
Many of the things that I've asked you today, Indrani, have more detailed answers in this documentary.
That's correct.
But it's important to point out that many of the questions don't have clear answers just yet. I'd like to end this interview by asking you.
You can ask me those questions.
2012 to now, it's been a dozen years. You've spent half of that time in jail. And you claim that you didn't commit this crime. Apart from this crime,
I am being very honest about it.
In court and in public opinion, it still is your claim.
I have pleaded not guilty because I am not guilty.
With the greatest of respect, ma'am.
So
I agree with that. I'm just saying technically
the reason,
that a court will decide.
I am absolutely sure, Shiv, I am going to get acquitted in this case because I have not done it, and no matter how hard anyone tries, they will never be able to bring evidence against me. Only because they cannot prove a crime that I have not committed. It's as simple. They can forge.
Is there anything that you regret doing? You say you didn't commit this crime.'s keep that aside for a moment.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you regret in the last, I would say, 15 years?
I regret having actually got married to Peter. But that's not in the last 15 years. I got married to him in 2002 and I met him in 2001.
Yeah.
I think my life would have been very different, but this is, I suppose, life, you don't always, life always doesn't, seem the way or turn out the way you want it. But I think I'm in a good place, Shiv, today. I think obviously, I know who my friends are and who are not. And I'm very happy not to have a fair weather family and a fair weather husband. I think I'm lucky. And I am going to fight this. And as, at one point in time, the media and, a large chunk of society believed that, I'm guilty. I think there is a large number of people who do believe in my innocence as well today, and which is why I have gone out and done this documentary, because I have nothing to hide.
Indrani, thank you for taking all of our questions and being candid here on India Today. We look forward to that documentary, and remember, the case isn't over yet, and that's the reason why the Indrani Mukerjea story is still called Buried Truth. Thanks for watching.